So tonight, more employees are speaking out with new accusations against a restaurateur in Niagara County. He's already under investigation for wage theft and labor violations. Today, he just got a third round of tax breaks. The County Industrial Development Agency unanimously approved $51,000 in sales tax subsidies for Mohammed Shoaib to open 3 more businesses in downtown Niagara Falls. We're talking about a Church's Chicken, Jamba Juice, and Carvel Ice Cream. This is on top of the other establishments he already runs, like Moe's Southwest Grill and A&W. Investigative Post first reported in January that nearly a dozen former and current employees submitted complaints to the State Labor Department complaining that Shoaib failed to pay overtime or withheld tips, among other accusations. Now, 5 more workers are speaking out, 3 of them managers. Now, they allege that Shoaib and his wife altered payroll entries, destroyed records, and/or lied to Labor Department investigators who are looking into all of these previous allegations. We want to talk this over tonight with the reporter behind all of this, J. Shoemaker with Investigative Post, who has been on this. I mentioned to you this is a story that just kind of keeps on giving. A couple of aspects to it, and I'll ask you about these tax breaks. But first, you talked to more people accusing wage theft here. What'd you learn?
Yeah, so the important thing with this story is that we had basically people who were in the know, who were managers, who were in senior leadership positions within Mr. Shoaib's companies, come forward and say not only is he withholding tips and failing to pay overtime, he's doing so deliberately, and they are altering payroll records to more or less cover their tracks, to put it in one way. Specifically, what they said is that when managers would submit their payroll records every week, they might show, for example, an employee working more than 40 hours that week. Instead of paying them for those overtime hours, they would get shifted from hourly to salary so that they did not have to pay those hours. And the people I spoke to, they told me, we would tell them, you can't do this, and the money that you're saving by doing this is going to be peanuts compared to what you might get charged with. They didn't seem to care, the owners anyway. We also learned in reporting this story that when the labor board came knocking on February 6th, they showed up at a bunch of these restaurants. There were some text messages I obtained in which the owner's wife, Hina Qureshi, as well as their son, Yusuf, were sending messages to the manager saying, destroy the schedules, get rid of them. Now that's important. I'll just make one last point here. That's important is because this isn't an instance where people are happening to work overtime. They are being scheduled for overtime. Some guys, 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. So this is purposeful overtime that they are then not paying.
Wow. And in the meantime, you have what happened today, right? And you expected that this was going to happen, more tax breaks. And you don't traditionally think that you know, building a fast food restaurant is even eligible for a lot of these subsidies with taxpayers. But nonetheless, it went through again today with really no conversation about this other stuff.
That's yet another element to this, is that because the census tract in Niagara Falls is considered depressed, there's a loophole in state law that lets you subsidize retail establishments there. Usually you're not allowed to subsidize retail. However, the IDA has used this loophole time and time again for Mr. Shoaib. Today they had very little discussion. They unanimously approved it, and when we asked the chairman about this, he said, not our problem.
We should point out Mr. Shoaib and his associates have, said before they're creating a lot of jobs in Niagara Falls. Any response to your new reporting today from the company, from the restaurateur?
Mr. Shoaib has refused to speak with me. His wife has refused to speak with me, and their attorney has refused to speak with me. And again, when I asked the IDA chairman, are these the types of jobs that you want to be creating where people could potentially have their wages withheld from them? He said, nobody is getting stolen from until the state says they're getting stolen from.
I know you'll continue to follow it. Dale Shoemaker with Investigative Post. InvestigativePost.org is the place to check it out. Dale, thank you.
Thank you.